Hi everybody. I want to talk about financial abuse, how to recognize it, address it, and fix it, and move forward. Because I have financial problems as a lingering legacy of the divorce and from my ex. So I want to talk about this just a little bit. Financial abuse, what it is, financial manipulation. So this is, of course, the notion that what's yours is mine, what's mine is mine, when you're in an unbalanced relationship. And I think this is seemingly more true, that it's the men who are being financially abused by the woman. And I'm sure there's some women scratching their heads on that. But hear me out. Abuse is the notion that somebody else has access to your money and is making decisions regarding your money. That should never happen. And I know there's a lot of women out there who are good with money, who can help manage their husband's finances, and come to good financial standing. That's not what I'm talking about. If anything, that's positive financial manipulation. Manipulation can be good. I mean, that's what interventions are. That's what counseling is. That's what advice is. There are some positive forms of manipulation. But there are the people who will gain access to your money, or they manipulate you emotionally to extract a financial benefit. Do they live with you? Yes. What do they contribute to the mortgage? Well, I cover the mortgage because it's my house. Cool. Well, what else do they contribute to? Well, they pay their car note. Cool. They pay their car insurance. Cool. They pay their cell phone. Cool. What else do they do? When you go out to dinner, who pays? Who bought that couch? Who bought the love seat? Who bought the television? Who bought the decorations? I found myself, like 5 to 10 years ago, I found myself living in a house that I built, that I paid for, filled with furniture that I bought, filled with decorations that I bought, painted with paint that I bought, yard mowed with a lawnmower that I bought, eating meals and dinners and groceries with food that I bought. Everything was bought and paid for by me. My wife at the time was a stay-at-home wife. And I don't mean just because we had a child. She was a stay-at-home wife before we were married. I was stupid, and she finagled her way out of having to work and contribute, and had, quote-unquote, medical problems, back problems, all of these mysterious ailments keeping her from working, right? So, understand, financial abuse has many forms. Financial manipulation can be good or bad. And there are plenty of cases where where you or the significant other is better with money and manage and handle the money. But for those being financially abused, you're being financially abused if your savings is constantly being depleted. So you had savings, now your savings is lower. And not from any sort of major life event, but just a slow draining and bleeding of it. You're being financially abused when you're buying things you don't want to buy, that you would never buy on your own. So, me as a man, a good example of this, me as a man, I would never just randomly go to Hobby Lobby and buy a baker's rack. Not really something I'm into, etc. Did I buy a baker's rack for my wife? No. but that's just what comes to mind. Okay, if you're a man in a relationship, especially if you're married and you live in suburbia, you're gonna find yourself at all these little hobby stores, little craft stores, things like Michael's, Hobby Lobby, something else. Fine, don't be the one to pull out your debit card. Now, how can you hedge against this without causing friction in the marriage? Well, number one, you can't really completely hedge without there being some friction, but they'll get over it. And that's what you need to watch for, is your significant other's ability to get over it. So the short answer is, the way you should always reply when your significant other approaches you with a financial decision, understand one thing. There's a difference between a financial decision and a financial extraction. And this is how you can tell the difference between a decision and being manipulated and abused. Okay? Say, for example, your significant other comes up to you and has something pulled up on their phone saying, hey, you know, this looks really good. This would be really this would be great. What do you think? And you just say, no, I think that's great. I don't want to be the one to pay for it. You know, or you say something like, I think it's all right. I don't think I would want to pay money for that, but I think it's great. So you say that, and then you watch the reaction, okay? Because a normal person would just say, well, nobody asked you to buy it. I mean, I'm going to buy it. You know, that's the normal reaction. That's the reaction you should look for. So you're in a good relationship, and things are okay with your partner. If they come up to you and they say, hey, check this out. Like if it's a dude, and he's like, hey, check out this awesome new gun, right? 6 Hour just released this awesome new pistol. It's great. I think we could use it for home defense, and I think it would be a great addition to the gun collection if you're a Second Amendment family, right? And you tell them, no, that pistol looks great. I think we're good on guns. I'm not going to be the one to pay for it. So, and it's, oh, well, nobody asked you to pay for it. I'm just saying. It's like, okay, cool. Well, yeah, I mean, I think it's great. Thank you for sharing. And let that be that. On the other hand, there seems to be, there's always this little pattern. When you're with a manipulator, they have these little patterns. I like to think of it like a combination lock, okay? You know, spin the lock 2 times to the right, and then it's 36. Spin a full one time around to the left, and then go to 17, and then all the way over to 3, boom, and it gets unlocked, okay? Manipulators figure out the combinations to your decision making. And I'll say that again more slowly. A manipulator will figure out the combinations in your psychology to unlock your decision making, which is great information to have, because you can see a manipulator working the dials. I can think of, as a guy, there's a very common combination, and I think women know this to be true. You go to a guy, you ask him for something like, hey, there's a baker's rack at Hobby Lobby I saw that, you know, I really want. And he's like, okay, cool. And it's like, do you think maybe we could go get it? And it's like, no, sorry. And then what do you do a little bit later? What do? You go up to him, you kiss on him, love on him a little bit, and be like, hey, let's go to Buffalo Wild Wings, or whatever restaurant's close to Hobby Lobby, right? Let's go out for dinner. Let's go out and do something fun. And you're like, okay. Well, then you go to Buffalo Wild Wings, and you're sitting there eating, and there's this bright orange glowing Hobby Lobby sign right out the window of Buffalo Wild Wings. And they're like, hey, you know, let me just show you this thing that I saw. Let me just show you. And fine, you know, we'll go. And then you go, and then ultimately another attempt is made to get the baker's rack at Hobby Lobby, right? And yeah, you know, if you're if you're one of these people pleasers, then you start to feel guilty because you see this person, it would just make them oh so happy to have this baker's rack, and you want to make this person happy because you're a giver, and so ultimately you end up buying the baker's rack. Okay? Now in all of this, the one thing you missed was the fact that this started with your significant other saying, I saw this baker's rack at Hobby Lobby. And what that translates into, I saw something and I could have bought it, but I didn't, because I want to see if I can get you to buy it and me save my money. That's how that works. Anytime somebody approaches you with something, and this is very crucial. Anytime somebody approaches you for anything that has a price tag on it, anything, all the time ever, and they bring it to you, that means they already had an opportunity to just buy it, and they didn't take that opportunity to buy it. Now maybe it's because both of you have a joint bank account, maybe it's something that takes financial planning, but I mean, by the numbers, anytime somebody brings anything to you with a price tag, especially like something from Amazon or anything like that, they have already had the opportunity to just buy it themselves. And depending on your individual situations, there could be various reasons for that. But it comes down to the fact they could have already bought it. And maybe they're bringing it to you because both of you make decisions together, which is great, because then you say, no, I don't think we should buy that. Always learn to tell people no. Like, no is such a great way to live your life. Because if you default to no, then that means when it comes down to something important, you'll have the financial resources to take care of the important things. You know, nobody needs a baker's rack from Hobby Lobby. You don't. I mean, for all the baking you do, we just left Buffalo Wild Wings. Right? So, I'm referencing this story from somebody I spoke to the other day, just in case you're curious where this came from. You know, somebody is like, you already went to Hobby Lobby. So you went to Hobby Lobby, first of all, without me shopping. So what did you buy at Hobby Lobby? Did you buy something? And pull the old trick of you buy something, you don't tell your significant other. You come home, if they're not home, then you just bring the stuff in, pull the tags off and set it up, and just don't mention it. All these new things just randomly appear in the house, don't they? Right? You know, the pile of shoes forever gets bigger, and men never go shoe shopping with their wives. Just the shoe pile just magically grows in size. You know what I mean? So, and this is what I had to explain. So your significant other already went to Hobby Lobby, probably bought stuff, wanted the baker's rack too, didn't want to spend their own money on it, wanted to get you to spend your money on it to complete their vision. So you say no. Well, so then what happens? Redirection to Buffalo Wild Wings. And just happened to sit on the patio that faces Hobby Lobby with the big glowing letters in the evening when it's dark, so it's lit up and open and glowing. Then there you are, stuck in Hobby Lobby with somebody who is, you know, being all sweet and sexy and flirty but please, you know, being really emotive. No, you just say, I don't want to buy that. I do not want to pay for it. I think it's great. I don't want to pay for it. If you want it, you pay for it. Thank you very much for listening. Please like, comment, or share. I'll see you on the next video.